Thank you. Hi, ladies. Good evening. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. בעזרת השם, בשורות טובות, ישועות ונחמות. Parashat Behar. Parashat Behar is a very special parasha, and there are several topics here. And I would start with, it says, "V'chi yamuch achicha." Once you see that your brother, that your friend, financially it starts to get hard to him, and he's almost falling, okay? It's our obligation, our mitzvah, to help out, to lend a hand, to be there, to identify the first moment that, before he falls, and just to be there. Let's start with the story. In a small town, a very, very wealthy man lived there, and he had a store, a variety store, where he would sell all kind of stuff. He would sell stationaries and all kind of sewing tools and sometimes clothing and whatever. One day, a strange man that he doesn't know, okay, came into his store and asked for a loan. He said, "I don't know you. How can I give you money? $5,000 is a big amount to a stranger. How can I help you with this? I don't know you. Please bring me guarantors, and I'll try to borrow you, to give you the money." He said, "The same way you don't know me, no one else in town knows me. No one knows me here, but I'm a very trustworthy man. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm okay. I will return all the money that I took, and don't worry." He said, "Okay, find me guarantors." He said, "One person will be enough guarantor?" He said, "If he's well known and he has means, why not? It's okay." He went outside and came back with a signed bill that's written on this. That was written on this, "Malveh Hashem chonen dal." This is a verse that's written in Mishlei. And basically, it says there that if a person gives some money to a poor person, okay, that he doesn't know, he shouldn't be afraid that he's going to lose. Hashem will pay the loan himself. So he said, "I don't know what to tell you. What should I tell him? That I don't trust Hashem? I cannot say that." He said, "Let me consult my wife. I'll ask her, and then I'll give you an answer." He went home. He asked his wife, "What do you think? Should I give him the money?" He says, "You cannot refuse such a thing. If Hashem is the guarantor, so you have to give him the money." So he went, and he went back to his store, gave him this $5,000 for 3 months. Okay? And he signed, and then everything fine. After 3 months, the day of the payment, he was out of town. He was, he went to the capital city to do some business there. His wife was in the store. So she's standing there. A black man, Gentile, got into the store, and he started to ask her. He wanted to see certain materials, fabrics, for clothing. She's showing all kind of samples, all kind of stuff. He doesn't like it. He asked her if there's some other designs, some other samples. So she said, "Let me look." She took a ladder, went up the stairs to bring some more merchandise. By the time she came down, this man wasn't there anymore. Okay, he left, who cares? But then she saw that he left his wallet on the counter. She got so scared. Those days, the Gentiles will find all kind of excuses to blame the people, so the Jewish people, to accuse them that they're thieves, that they're liars, that they're bloodsuckers, that they're whatever. She got so scared, she took the wallet and started to run outside. She ran outside to see, where is this man? She asking people, she's running, she's going right, she's going left. She went to the main street of the city. No one, he disappeared, he's not there. So she went back to the store. She waited her husband, see whatever her husband says. Her husband came home, and he said, "It's okay, let's open the wallet, let's see how much money is in there." She says, no, 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 don't open it. If you open it, they will find out how much money. People will think that we stole the money. People will think that we took something from it. Don't open it. Leave it sealed and closed and whatever. He says, no, we have to. So they opened. There were $5,000. It was the money that he gave once to this Jewish person. And this was the day of the payment. He says, see, Hashem is the guarantor. Hashem sent us the money. He says, you really want to take it like that? It's very dangerous. So they went to the rabbi. And of course, the rabbi told them, you can wait a few more days just in case, but you should know that it was Eliyahu Navi that came and gave you the money. He said, but why to my wife? Why did he appear to my wife, not to me? He said it was her decision to lend the money, to give the money to this poor person or Jewish person. She had the merit to see Eliyahu Navi. So we learn in this parasha that we have to open our hearts and to be available and to help needies, to help others. So let's pay attention to what it says in the parasha. It says, "V'chi yamuch achicha." Not only that you have to lend a hand and to help a person that is about to fall, you have to. Rabbi says, you have to pay attention. Rashi says, don't let him fall, because once he falls, it's going to be very hard to pick him up. And he gives a mashal, he gives an example. Let's say there's a big caravan, or a very, very heavy object, steel, something very, very heavy. And there's a crane that takes this caravan and puts it in a certain place in the ground that you need it. So as long as this caravan is in the air, 2-3 workers can direct it for it to find its place at the right angle, the right location, the right exactly place, as long as it's in air. Once it's already in ground, you're going to have 10 workers. You cannot really move it anymore. That's it. So this is what the rabbi explained. He says, as long as this person didn't really fall yet, and you're lending a hand, it's so much easier for this person than once he fell already, he's already depressed, feels like he's a failure, he won't be able to pick him up himself, and he feels that he won't be able to make it. So this is number one. Number two, the Ramban, he adds another commentary. It says, "V'chai achicha imach." Your brother should live with you. People may think, I would sacrifice myself. I'll give everything for him, so that sometimes people may give everything what they have. And but first, says the Ramban, first the person has to take care of himself, because if you have the strength, if you have the power, and you help others, this person can still rely on you. He still needs you. He can still come to you. But if you lose everything, if you don't have any strength to help him anymore, so you won't be able to help him anymore at all. So people first have to secure themselves financially and spiritually and mentally and physically, and make sure that that they are secured and they are good, and then they're able to help other people. So this is what it says. And then they say also, it says in Tehillim, Ashrei maskil el dal. In order for the support to be a useful one, so it's very important to think before you're helping, how you're helping. To do it in a way that's going to be very, very useful to this needy person. In order that it's going to be, that you could really take the benefit of it. So there are some people that they like to give, yeah? So the wealthy person gives, and the needy person takes. And everyone stays in the same status. He gives, he takes, and that's it. But there are some people that are giving in such a way that it makes the needy, he doesn't feel like he gets, and he's poor and miserable. He elevates him, it makes him feel so good. he helps him out, talk to him, understands him, feels his pain. This is so much higher level of giving, right? Because in tzedakah we have to understand the most important thing in tzedakah is not only the giving the money, but also supporting the person. You'll be able to make it. Don't worry, I'm with you. You can call me anytime. Don't think that I'm not God. Don't think that I'm giving and you're the taker. It's, Galgal Mistovev, we say, one time you're up, one time, you try to make him feel okay. So, see how important it is, how exactly you give. Rabbi Rav Chaim Mitzans, he had once a widow came to him and she was crying. She told him, Rabbi, since my husband's passing, I took the responsibility of supporting my kids, and I don't really have any profession or anything. So I used to sell apples. So in the beginning, people used to come and buy from me, but I don't know, someone once said that my apples are not tasty or not sweet or something, and since then, buyers don't come, and I hardly, chaval, these apples rot after a while, and I'm not able to provide for my kids. What should I do? The rabbi said, let's go to the market. He went with her to the market, where her stand is, where she's selling her stuff. And he got up and he told people, listen to me, these lady's apples are so tasty, are so good, and whoever's going to buy it is going to be blessed, and all kind of stuff that he said. And people, yeah, of course, the rabbi is blessing it. Of course, they started to buy, and since then they bought and they bought and they bought, and she her business picked up. This is a very nice way of giving. The rabbi, she didn't really need charity from the rabbi, but the rabbi really helped her in a way that she feels confidence about it. Before, she didn't feel confidence about herself. She was scared. She thought that her apples are really not good. But here, now people say that it's good, that it's healthy, that it's fine. Yeah. So she felt good and was able to maintain her status and everything. So, this is what we say. In the beginning, it said, the previous psukim, it spoke in a plural language. But now, when the Torah speaks about supporting, about helping a needy person, the Torah speaks in a singular way, because whenever there's a need to help other people, people tend to throw the responsibility on somebody else. Let him help her, he's closer to her, he's a relative, or he's richer, or he has more means to help. What do you want from me? And so people tend to throw this responsibility on other people. And the Torah says, see, the perspective of the Torah is different than most human being thinks. The Torah says the responsibility is yours. And don't dismiss yourself in all kind of claims that others would do it, right? So I want to tell you a very strong story that I read, and I think it's very important and so it's so good to this type of subject. About 30 years ago, one of the very esteemed universities in the United States declared on one of the very, very famous and rich people here in the United States as the Man of the Year. Now, before the declaration, before giving him the prize, they went to interview him. And they asked him, we know you, we saw how you conduct yourself. You have about 800 restaurants, okay? And all these people that are working for you, all the customers that are coming to you, everyone speaks so highly about you. They like you, they love you, they admire you, yeah? And please tell us the story. How come all these people admire you so much? And we spoke with some of your workers. They are willing even to work for half of their salary. Usually workers, they are complainers, we want better conditions, we want better salary, we want this, they complain about everything. But his workers like this person, the boss, very, very much. And they would do anything to stay and work for him. And this they didn't understand. How come? So the rich, wealthy Jewish man told them that up to a few years ago, he was a very, very selfish man that thought only about himself, his success and his wisdom and his intellect, and it was the most important thing. All the others are zero. But then he took once a trip with a group of tourists to Israel. And this tourist guide that they had, he wanted to show them the special places of Israel, experiences that you cannot really see or feel in other places, only in Israel. So among the places that he took them to the yeshiva of Mir in Yerushalayim. The yeshiva of Mir, thousands of students are learning there. If you get into the hall of the yeshiva of Mir, 3,000 at least, it's so noisy. People are arguing about the Gemara, about the learning, right? So you hear just noises. People talk and people hear. So you cannot really talk in such a loud place, and you cannot really hear anyone. And so they didn't understand how did they learn there. But from the other side, when you look at the people, the learners, the guys that learn, they feel content, they feel happy, they feel good. The place is very crowded to hold 3,000 people, but it's tranquility, it's good, it's a good feeling there. And so, okay, that's interesting. But the most important experience that they felt was when they went into the chamber of the Rosh Yeshiva. He had a small room. The Rosh Yeshiva was old already and sick. Rav Natan Tzvi Finkel, Zecher Tzadik Levarcha. He had Parkinson's disease and he had the ILS. So you can understand how this person lived. No, you don't understand. We don't understand what does it mean. But he was so much admired by his students, by his colleagues, by other rabbis. He was very special. Never thought about himself. Always just to give to others, to take care of others. With his weakness, used to travel, used to collect money for the yeshiva. Yeah. So they're sitting in his room, and the rabbi sees a bunch of wealthy people, and so from America. And he asked them a question. He asked them a very surprising question. They thought that he will give them musar, he will start to rebuke him or to preach them about Shabbat, about kashrut, about this, about that. Instead, the rabbi asked them a question. What was the message, what was the lesson that you took from the Holocaust that happened to the Jewish people? This was the question that he asked them. So this guy, this wealthy man, he got up, and he said, Rabbi, the Germans wanted to annihilate us because we were weak, because we didn't have an army, because we didn't have anyone, to protect us, but no more. We won't let this happen. Now we're smart, we are intellectual, we have the means, and we won't let the Holocaust happen once more. The rabbi looked at him in a pity smile. He said, really? You think the Holocaust cannot happen anymore, once more? He told him, all the millions of Jews that lived in Germany and in Poland and in other places were very intellectual too, very smart too, very rich also. And they didn't believe and they didn't think that the Germans will do this to them, will try to harm them, will try to destroy them. Yeah? But we see that it did happen. So the rich person asked the rabbi, so Rabbi, so what did you learn from the Holocaust? Tell us the answer. The rabbi said something very interesting. He taught them a very, very strong lesson. He told them the doctrine of the Germans was that they are the high race, the most important race. No one is like them. They are the most superior nation, out of all the nations. However, they saw the Jews. They know the Torah. And the superiority of the Jews bothered them very, very much. It killed their pride. They didn't know what to do with this. And so you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to uproot this Jewish pride. They wanted to uproot the God image that Jewish people have. You know what they were trying to do? They were trying to humiliate us. How did they humiliate us? Very esteemed rabbi that learned a lot, that had so much knowledge. You know what they make them do? They made them sweep the streets with their beards. This is how they humiliated them. Make them walk in the streets with torn clothing, or hungry, thirsty. They used to humiliate them in all kind of ways. Why did they do that? What do you think they did this for? Because they wanted to break our spirit. Because they wanted they wanted the Jews not to feel the chosen nation. This they didn't want. So he says, but let me tell you something. This is something that one of the rabbis once said, and it's a very, very strong, important idea, he said. He said, the whole Torah was given to us so that we will keep our and nurture our God's image. This is why all the laws of the Torah, why we have to help needy, what does it mean v'ahavta kamocha? Why we have to keep all these mitzvot? Not to think only about ourselves, not to be selfish, but to think about the others. You know what these rabbis did in the Holocaust? Not only rabbis, simple Jews too. When they saw a weak person that's almost falling, that he's going to faint any second now, he won't be able to finish his labor, they started to work instead of him, so that this guy is not going to die. They shouldn't shoot him, they shouldn't revenge on him or take care of him. When they saw that a person is dying from a hunger in the camps, they gave their own bread so that the other one won't fall, won't die from starvation or something. When they saw that this one needs he's sick, he's weak, whatever, they all somehow decided to give from themselves. Tell me, they were not weak, they were not sick, they were not hungry, they were. But they gave the small amount of food that they had, or some of the power that they had, they didn't want to give it to another person. This is Judaism, he says. And these, the Germans, they were not able to take it away from us. So I teach you, he says, don't rely on your wealth. Don't rely on your wisdom. Lend a hand. Think about the others. Get out of your box and think about the other person. Once you're not going to think only about yourself, and you will continue being kind to another person and think about them and be considerate, this is when you fulfill your mission in this world. And this is what we learned from the Holocaust. The Germans wanted to make us animal. What is an animal? An animal has desires. An animal has all kind of instincts. An animal has all kind of things that stimulate him. And that's what they want us to be. But we are not animals. We don't want to have animalistic character traits. We want to become human. And so this is what I learned from the Holocaust. And you have to understand, this rabbi was he was shaking like I don't know what, and I couldn't really, but he learned this message shook him up. This rich person, he decided that from that day on, he will think about his workers, every now and then, buying them gifts, giving them all kind of messages, sending them all kind of messages, as a group or as individuals. He sees people, good morning, how are you doing? When the workers see that the boss cares about them, they like it, and then they get appreciated, they get some attention, they want to stay in this environment and to keep working for him, right? The administrators of this university, once they heard this interview, they liked it. They were so much impressed that the day that they gave him the prize, the Man of the Year, they published it everywhere, all over the United States. How a good worker, how a good boss is supposed to take care of his workers. So our next subject in the parasha is something that's called ona'at dvarim ve'ona'at mamon. Huh?
I'm learning it now.
Yeah. What is ona'at dvarim and ona'at mamon? Katuv. It says, okay, whatever. It says that whenever we do any kind of business or buy or sell, it says, al tanu ish et achiv. You shouldn't cheat one another. And then later on it says, v'lo tanu ish et amito ve'areta me'elokecha. So here we speak about two different topics. The first topic, the first pasuk speaks about ona'at mamon, which is deceiving, cheating, financially. Yeah? And the second one speaks about ona'at dvarim, when someone can say to another person and hurt him, humiliate him, make fun of him, this, it says, it's not allowed from the Torah. We cannot embarrass people, we cannot hurt people. So it says both these two have a common factor. You take advantage of the weak point of the other person. Deceiving in trading, in business, the other person doesn't know what's supposed to be the price of this item that you want to sell. So you exaggerate. Instead of selling something that costs $10, you sell it for $70, for $100, let's say. It's not right. He doesn't know what's the real amount supposed to be, and he's willing to give you the money, but it's called cheating. It's not fair. It's not right. Some people may say, what's wrong? This is how people do business. So what if I put a higher price on this? He agreed, he wants to pay me, why not? But the Torah says, the Torah says that we cannot take advantage of the fact that the other one doesn't have a knowledge about the price. So it's not allowed by the Torah to do this. And ona'at dvarim, when people say certain things to another person and they can hurt him, this is even stronger, because sometimes people think, okay, if I, God forbid, will hit someone physically, that's wrong, that's bad. But if I said something and he got insulted, it's his problem. Oh, so what? The Torah says no, you cannot hurt another person. And this hurt is even stronger because, sometimes a physical hurt can heal, but something that goes and penetrates and goes so much into someone's heart, you can't really fix such a hurt. People carry this hurt for years sometimes, and they cannot forgive and they cannot forget, and it's so hard for them to deal with this. And they make decision upon, because of that also, they may go to some other direction that was not supposed to be there. And people think, so what was wrong? I just said something, so what if I just said? But the truth is that this harm is very severe, because you hurt his weak point, and you take advantage of his weakness, and you overcome your rival not with any weapon but with your words, which is very, very strong. So some people say that Isur ona'at mamon, which is with money, deceiving with money, it's a real prohibition. Okay, it's not allowed to cheat, it's not allowed to steal and whatever. But people... but the caution from ona'at dvarim, which is to hurt people, It's maybe moral conduct, okay, that you take upon yourself. You have to, you don't have to. You don't feel that, you think, oh, maybe it's good for outstanding people, really, really righteous people. No, not for every day, not for us. But it's not true. Isur on advarim, they say it's even more severe, because, as I said, when you hurt somebody financially, you hurt his assets, you hurt his money, and sometimes you can return the money. He had $1,000 loss. You can return this money, and everything is forgiven. Everything is okay. But when somebody hurts another person's feelings, it's very hard to forgive such things. I'll tell you something, a story that happened with Rav Rafael Shmulevitz, also Rosh Yeshivat Mir. So one of the students in his yeshiva didn't find his match. He was 20, he was 30, he came close to 40 years old already. He was 38 years old. And he came to the rabbi and he was crying to him. He says, Rabbi, what should I do? What should I do? Nothing is working out for me. What should I do? So Baruch Hashem, the rabbi blessed him, and an offer came. And the guy was so excited to go for the first date. And before the first date, he went back to the rabbi and he told him, Rabbi, I'm so scared that once the girl is 9 years younger than him, also never married. But I'm scared that if she's going to hear my age, she's going to regret and she's going to back off, and that's about it. Am I allowed to tell her that I'm younger in 2-3 years? It's not a big deal. I'll tell her that I'm, 35 instead of 38. It's not so severe. It's not such a big difference. It's not so. The rabbi said, let me ask Rabbi Steinman, whatever he says, I'll go and ask him. He went to Rabbi Steinman. Rabbi Steinman he was so smart, Rabbi Steinman, he said to him, listen, the first thing that the girl is asking about the guy is what's his age. I'm sure she checked it, and she overchecked it, and she went to finalize with this one, and she checked all the resume, she called all these people, the reference numbers, everything she called. You think you're going to deceive her in this? You have one very big disadvantage, your age. Don't have another disadvantage, and after this, don't be a liar. That's what he said. So he said, okay. The student said, okay, no problem. And as they met the first time, of course, first thing that she asked was the age, and he said the age. And we said that they liked each other, they continue meeting, they continue dating. And Baruch Hashem decided that they want to get engaged. After the engagement, the girl told him, you know something? The first time when we met, he said, yeah. He said, I really wanted to test you. So I saw, people in this age tend to lie, tend to, lower their age. And I wanted to see what you're going to say. You told me the truth, and this is the first thing that I liked by you. You see? So yeah. So let's give some examples to what does it mean on Atmamon, and then what does it mean on Advarim, meaning deceiving, cheating in money, and then hurting people. You're not allowed to ask the one that gives services or the seller the price of a certain merchandise if you're not planning to buy this merchandise. Many times people go to the store, how much is this one? How much is this one? And she's not even planning to buy. So you're bothering him. He has his hopes already. He thinks he's going to sell you, and you just, driving him nuts, and then you're leaving the store, and then he's like crushed and upset and devastated. Don't. This is not good. You cannot ask him how much this cost, how much that cost, and when you don't want to buy, because sometimes when people don't want to buy, they find all kind of excuses why this item it's not good quality, or it's not fresh, or it's not this. You give him all kind of complaints, all kind of reasons why you don't want to buy. There may be people in the store. They hear that this is not fresh and this is not a good quality, and they make a decision not to buy this too, and it's all because of you. And you cannot really cause this thing to happen. And even if there's no people there, he says, this person, the seller, he wants to earn money, and as I said before, he thinks that he's going to earn something, and you bother him. See how honesty is so important, because when people are not honest, it backfires to them eventually. It's not good for them. Two different merchants, sold their goods in the market. One was selling stationaries, one was selling sweets. Okay? Both were not happy with the sales, with the customers, with the money, the income. They didn't like it. So they decided to switch. I will sell the sweets, you will sell the stationery. So, but in the condition that you give me all your customers, you give me all, you tell me what the sources of where you're buying all your stock. You tell me all the secrets of your, your sales, your business, and I'll tell you, fine. The one that sells the stationery gave him everything. He told him, explained him, the list of his customers even, and what time, what they like, what they don't like, where he buys all this stuff from, and everything. The other one was greedy. The other one didn't really share all his knowledge with his friend. He kept himself certain customers, or certain the people that selling certain this, they didn't really share with him everything. So, okay, the big day comes. They're supposed to start their store, their business now. The one that had the stationaries and gave it to his friend now, his heart is clean. He's feel good. He's full with excitement. He comes to the store. He starts selling. He starts this. He's there. People like him. Everything is good. The other one that didn't want to share, what was he thinking? If I didn't share with him, maybe he didn't share with me too. So maybe he also covered from me, some of the customers, some of the sellers, some of the buyers, some of the merchandise, some of this, and kept thinking all day long, how could he deceive him here? How could he deceive him there? And the first day when they were supposed to start their business, he was confused. He wasn't really focused. He showed that he's distressed. The buyers felt it. Okay, didn't really come happily. Didn't want to be there. And this is how he lost it by himself. Because when somebody is not honest, 100%, he gets it back. What about onad dvarim that I say? How do people can hurt people without paying attention? Onad dvarim means you could annoy someone, you could cause him grief by speech, by talking. Yeah? For example, let's say somebody became Bala Tshuva, became more religious now. You're not allowed to tell her, you remember where you used to associate, who your friends were, what kind of clubs or dancing or what kind of movies you saw. You remember? You're not allowed to say that. It's not nice. If somebody converted to Judaism, let's say, you don't tell them, you know where you came from, you remember which, who your parents, okay? Somebody wants to learn Torah, you don't tell him, a mouth that ate non-kosher want to study Torah now? Somebody that did this and this and this and that you want to be holy all of a sudden? What do you think? Who do you think you are? Or something like that. Not nice. If somebody gets all kind of, got a disease or got all kind of inflictions, all kind of grief, sorry, you don't tell them it's because they're not religious. If you would be more fearing God, you wouldn't get this problem. We're not God. How do we know? Why do you say that? Right? It's not nice. You cannot tell if somebody comes to buy from you something. You have you sell diamonds, you sell this. You don't tell, go to my friend on the other side, and he's selling. And when you know that he doesn't have this merchandise right now, or he doesn't really sell it, and you cause them to go and to find and to look for these people, and it's not good. Look at this. לעולם יהיה אדם זהיר בהונאת אשתו. A person should be careful not to hurt his wife. שמתוך שדמעתה מצויה הונאתה קרובה. Because she's easy to cry, she's easy to get hurt, okay? It's no good because you're not careful. People may say, but she's too sensitive, it's her problem. What do you want from me? I'm not that sensitive. I told her something. Why she's crying from this? You're not supposed to cry from this. It shows that you are not sensitive. People have their emotions, people have their feelings, people have their day. All kind of stuff happened to her, and you cannot say because she's too sensitive, it's her problem. That's not right. And Rav that said that in the Gemara says she cries easily, so it's your responsibility to be more careful the way that you relate to her. It's your obligation to make sure to do things that won't hurt her. Okay? So the Talmud says if she feels hurt, you have to make sure that you're not going to hurt her, because her tears and her feelings, her emotions are very, very important. This source in the Talmud, as you know, was said when women didn't have rights. And people didn't care. Other people didn't care about the women's emotions and feelings and whatever. And see how the Torah was so careful about women. Many times we judge people according to our standards, and we have to get out of ourselves and think about them, what they went through, and don't be so judgmental. Okay, in your job, let's say, or in the society, or in the shul, many times you're so careful with how you say things. Your level, the way that you speak to others, the quality of your speech is usually in a certain level. But at home, people feel that they could be free. And you may say all kind of things to his wife, or sometimes to the children too. And who said that your wife's supposed to get all your the way that people upset you, and you were holding this the whole day, and now you just burst it, with anger on top of your wife, on top of your kids. They didn't do anything. They don't deserve it. Why do you think you're supposed to do it to your husband? And same woman to her husband. Today, Baruch Hashem, women are working. The day was very, very stressful. Wasn't easy. You have this customer, you have that customer. She says, so to the old customers, you have to be nice, you have to be smiley. But to the house, to kids, to your husband, you feel that you could feel free and say whatever you want. And this is not fair. They're not supposed to accept it from you, to get it from you. And this is a sentence that a woman said in the Gemara. Look at this. Kol ha'sharim nin'alu, basically all the gates of tefillah, of prayers, are locked up, except sha'arei ona, except the gates of feeling hurt, feeling upset, embarrassed, hurt. Who said the sentence? Ima Shalom. Who was Ima Shalom? Ima Shalom was the wife of Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol. Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol was the rabbi of Rabbi Akiva. He was so knowledgeable man. He knew so much. But from the other side, this Ima Shalom, she was from a very respected family. She was the sister of Rabbi Gamliel. And he was the president, and he was the leader of Am Yisrael, of the Kerem Beyavne, Rosh HaChachamim. So Rabbi Yehoshua, one of the rabbis, and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Hanina ורבי Eliezer had a dispute. Once I told you the story about Tanuro shel Achnai, about this oven. They were arguing, debating if it's a kosher or not. Rabbi Eliezer said it's kosher, this one they said, oh, they were arguing. But Rabbi Eliezer was a minority, and the majority said that he wasn't right. He didn't accept it because he thought he's right, and he was the most knowledgeable of all. They said you have to listen to us because we are majority, and they had a fight, and they decided they wanted to boycott him. They put him in Cheren, meaning no one is supposed to talk to him, no one is supposed to pray with him, no one is supposed to learn with him, nothing. So things like that happened in Israel, but they also humiliated him. You know, things that he did in the past, he agreed to certain things, or they took it outside, they burned all whatever he taught, or whatever he made it kosher, or whatever, really humiliated. So he felt the hurt. What happened? So his wife, Ima Shalom, she was so scared that every day when people finish the prayer, they say Tachanun. There's a prayer that's called Nefilat Apayim, Asharnu Baganu Gazalnu. And at this time, people can pray. And she knew that if her husband will concentrate and pray in a concentration, because of his pain about what happened, he can kill with his prayer her brother, Rabban Gamliel. Already something like that happened. He was in the sea, and the ship was almost sinking, or almost drowning. And then Rabbi Gamliel said, Hashem, I know that it's because of Rabbi Eliezer, but I did it all L'Shem Shamayim. And this is, Hashem, the water ceased, and nothing happened. But here she was scared that her brother will get hurt from this. So she always was on top of him. Whenever he says Nefilat Apayim, so that he shouldn't really praise too much. One day she got confused. She thought it's Rosh Chodesh, and by Rosh Chodesh you don't say Asharnu Baganu. Somebody knocked on the door, poor man, he wanted some food. So she went outside to give him some food. Meanwhile, he's already starved. She came back, she saw that he's in the middle of this. She said, oh my gosh, my brother died. And it was really true. There was a proclamation already from her brother's yeshiva that he died, this rabbi, Rabban Gamliel. So they asked her, how do you know? She says, Kach mekublani mibeit avi abba. Her father, her family was from Hillel Zaken, very, very important people. So we know, it's in our DNA, we know already that all the gates in heaven are locked except the gates of Sharei Onah. Sharei Onah, when somebody is feeling the hurt, he's crying out to Hashem, Hashem listens to him. Because Hashem is always with people who suffer. We have this mitzvot, you have to be careful with the dignity of a widow, or orphan kids, or people that are, needy. Why? Because already, as is, they feel low about themselves. No one to turn to. The only one that they can turn to is Hashem, and Hashem listens. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful with people. Then it says. Another story, very, very important story. Nathan was once humiliated by his rabbi in the school. Back in time, when he was younger, when he was a student, he was always on top of him. He always humiliated him. I don't know why this rabbi felt that he could be on his nerve, telling him all kind of words, calling him names, saying all kind of stuff about him. And he was very humiliated. It bothered him very, very much. On top of this, once his older brother brought two of his friends home. They were sitting and playing or whatever. All of a sudden, the mother came out screaming from her bedroom, "Who broke my perfume bottle? Very expensive perfume," and somebody broke it. So the friends make, innocent face. We don't know. We don't know. And so easily the mother blamed it on her younger child, this Nathan. It's always like you, even your Rebbe says, even this, even that, and whatever. Wait for your father to come back. You'll see that he's going to punish you. And he really got punished so much. And he remembers this, It was a very difficult childhood for him. He didn't really like it. Anyway, Baruch Hashem, he grew up, got married with a good girl, everything was fine. Recently he went to a wedding and he met somebody familiar from the past, from the school. It was the friend of his older brother. He comes to him and he tells him, you probably don't remember that. He says, what? He says, we came once to your house and your mother started to scream that somebody broke it was me. Mm-hmm. And now, after so many years, I feel so bad. I know that they blamed you. I know that you got punished. But please, I ask you for forgiveness. It was me and I didn't confess really at that time. But you probably don't remember that. He told him, you kidding me? I carried it on my back all these years. What are you talking about? Wow. So he wanted to calm him down. He says, listen, my life is not easy too. Don't be hard on me. Please forgive me. I'm living with my wife now. I got married with this very respected family that, shlom bayit. I don't have any shlom bayit. We keep fighting all day long with my wife and my in-laws. And now we're already separating now, probably anytime soon. And it's not easy on me. You probably know my father-in-law. You know who was my father-in-law? The Rabbi that once... he taught us, and then he taught you. This the Rabbi that, and he remembered about this Rabbi and about this and about that. But he said to himself, look at this. Yesh din ve'yesh dayan. Eventually, this guy suffered from this Rabbi because, he caused me anguish, he caused me pain. And see how Hashem takes care of stuff. It's a simple thing from stories from childhood, but some other laws. You cannot annoy even little kids. Sometimes we think, with kids we can, you can come or say all kind of stuff to them, or make jokes out of them, or call them names, or nicknames. And if this embarrasses him, if he feels ashamed, if he feels annoyed, if he doesn't like it, you cannot embarrass, you cannot hurt little kids too. It's not allowed. More than that, I wrote there that sometimes we see a little kid that doesn't behave. It says that if you're not his parent, you cannot really educate him. You cannot be his parent right now. Especially when you know that you're going to rebuke him and he's going to be defensive and he's going to answer back or be hurt or cry from your rebuke or something. Little kids that tend to cry very easy, very fast. So it's the parents' duty to educate the kids, not yours. And so they say, be careful with this too. You cannot call nicknames or say, you remember this fat or this dark or this hairy or this short or this, this type of this. We cannot really say that. Insulting sentences like you're a failure, or no shoot, we say, or you fool, you idiot, you don't understand anything, you're so not useful, nothing is going to come out of you. This is not, it's not appropriate. You cannot sting people and remind them, even in a hint, of a bad deed that his relative did, or if it caused him embarrassment or something. You cannot ridicule him about good things that you see that she's trying to get strict with mitzvot. Oh, look at you! You decide to become religious. You become more this. You become that. So. Rabbanit, you became Rabbanit. So, try not to come late to a meeting. especially when you know that the other one is waiting for you and waiting for you, and it bothers him, and he gets annoyed that you don't come on time. You have to come and apologize. If you came late, you have to apologize. It's not nice. It's not good. Don't call people in the middle of the night when you know that they might be sleeping, or it may wake up, little kids or a guest that they have at home. Sometimes it's hard for a guest to fall asleep, and until he falls asleep, or you had a tough day or whatever, until you fall asleep, and then it's not nice to call people. You cannot frighten people suddenly. Some people boo, or you prank people. It's not allowed. People, especially very sensitive people that went through trauma or something, this could devastate them. It could be very, very not good to them. They say, don't do things that can cause other people feel disgusted. Let's say, don't blow your nose very loudly, or don't let little kids next to other people go without, wiping their nose or something. So זה נקרא כבוד הבריות. Don't spit outside next to people. Don't burp or do all kind of stuff like that. Don't remind him of a deficiency that he has, or damage or defect that he has, or in his body, or the family that has something like that. These are all called on advarim. And if you do it in front of people, you're even causing them more shame. Okay, so be careful. If you're sitting next to a window and you want to open a window, but the other one, it's cold for her or it's hot for her, better to move away from this window and, not to cause a problem to other people. Sometimes you're standing Shmona Esrei, you cannot really move. And you're doing it slowly, or you read slowly. Meanwhile, others want to move, they want to go already, they want to, and they cannot really do it next to you. So be considerate. Stand next to a corner when you know that you have a long prayer, so that you won't bother anyone to walk or to get to a place that they need. And I'll ask you a question. Let's finish with a question. Rav Yitzhak Zilberstein, Shlita, okay, in his book Mitzvot Besimcha, he speaks about all the mitzvot that we have, how to do it happily. So he asked a question. Somebody asked him a question, and this is the question. A Jewish person was standing in a line in a department store or in a supermarket, let's say supermarket, and he wanted to come and pay, and he sees a man in front of him, behind of him, looking at his pockets, looking, and he's like, "Can I help you with something? Do you need anything?" He says, "Yeah, it looks like I left my wallet in the house, and I forgot to bring it with me. Until I'm going to go and come back, they're going to go to close the store. Can I borrow some money from you? Just $100?" So the person said, "Okay, I don't know you, but write me your name and your phone number, and in Israel, so to that zoot, your identification number also, whatever. I'll try to get to you somehow." And so he said, fine. He gives them and everything. He gave him $100. He said thank you, and he left. So he's waiting for him to call him. He doesn't call, and then he tries to call him. He doesn't pick up. So he understood that he's a con man, a swindler, somebody that cannot really trust him. He deceived him. So he says, "Kaparat avanot, Hashem will forgive me. I forgive this person. Hashem should forgive me for all my sins." After some time, he's in a different store, in a different place. Same kind of a situation. He stands in a line, and this person is looking for something. "Can I help you?" Same thing. When it happened to him third time, he says, "This guy is playing this on everyone here." So once he turned to another person now, and he tells him, "Maybe you can give me $100. I don't have $100. He caught him, and he went to the owner, and he told him, "Bring the police. This person is a con man, and I want them to come and arrest him." Was it right or wrong? This is the question that Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein is asking in his book.
Are you embarrassing the person?
It's wrong and right.
But it's wrong because he did this publicly. He couldn't do it some kind of quietly. And it's right, he have to let the authority, he did, so what he's doing.
So Arav Zilberstein, Arav said, because you see that, he saw that he already did it a few times, it was okay for him to call the police, because to warn him not to do it anymore, not to deceive people, not to cause grief to other people. You know, he takes money from them, never gives them back. So he said that would be okay. Yesterday, this week we in Sfirat Omer we're in Midat Sfirat Hod. What is the Hod? Hod is splendor. In Midat Hod, we're trying to rectify this. This midah is usually representing acknowledgement that Hashem, and the recognition that Hashem runs the world. He does it the way he understands. Whoever represents Midat Hod is Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen, you know that in the most important day, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, dedication of the temple, in front of millions of people, Hashem killed his two sons, Nadav and Avihu. What was Aaron's reaction? Vayidom Aaron. He accepted it. This is Hod. Hod means the acceptance and the beauty. Hod is also a beauty. The beauty of doing things. You see, Aaron HaKohen, it wasn't his job, but that's what he used to do. He used to do peace between couples. To hear constantly all kind of bad stuff about one another, you know, the complaints of each other and the harsh words, but from the other side, to be patient, to have tolerance, to hear all these complaints and everything, but then going and in a gently and soft way to break the objections and to bring peace and to work, make this relationship work out. This is a beauty that Aaron HaKohen had. This is the Hod. This is what we're learning this parasha, this week. B'ezrat Hashem, Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, which is tonight, and then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, is going to be next week. Hod Shebahod. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, let's learn from these people. Let's do all these mitzvot of being considerate and not hurting, bemet, in a way that you're happy when you're helping. You're happy. You know that this is the right thing to do, and you're doing it l'shem shamayim because this is the way it's supposed to be done. This is a beauty midah. It's something that we have to work on ourselves. B'ezrat Hashem, b'sarot tovot to everyone. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. Hashem yatzliach b'kachem. Thank you.